Hi, my name is Glenn Anderson, and I'm speaking to you about lymphedema and living your life daily with lymphedema. Our goal today in putting this presentation together is to help you make that very scary transition that comes in your life. So essentially, that scary moment when you realize you have to move from clinical care and direct supervision to self-managing your lymphedema. It doesn't really matter the cause of your lymphedema at this point because the transition is still the same. There are people that have had primary lymphedema, which is essentially in their genetic code, so to speak. They've had it all their lives or manifested at some point earlier on in their life. Some people in their teen years as they grow, others later, others earlier. And of course, there's also the secondary lymphedema patient who has lymphedema as a result of some sort of trauma or interruption in the lymphatic system. So that is most often caused by cancer treatments such as mastectomies, etc., which remove a certain number of lymph nodes quite often, and at a minimum sometimes with surgical sites, interrupt the lymphatic flow and create challenges. But you've crossed a bridge at this point. You've been diagnosed and treated for lymphedema. And for some people, that's a major milestone. We're going to hear from one patient in this video later on. Her name's Amy Santiago. And she went undiagnosed for most of her life, or incorrectly diagnosed would probably be a better way to say it, and was properly diagnosed about 6 years ago after 14 plus years of suffering and not having any means with which to manage her condition, because again, the incorrect diagnosis did not lend itself to managing her lymphedema. So you're at this crossroads. You've got to go independent, so to speak. And much like many patients out there who've had cancer and lymphedema as a result, there's a lot of support out there for cancer. You know this, there's support groups. A lot of the hospital-based clinics have support groups, and you've been able to talk to people and reach out when you feel you need to. Those groups exist for lymphedema as well, although not as prevalent. LE&RN, which is the group that is kind enough to post this video on their website and make it available to people, also is a good resource and they can put you in touch with others about how to reach out and find some support in your community. But we have to move past that scary moment and bridge into our daily lives, managing our chronic condition, which is lymphedema. There is no cure. It is a chronic condition that has to be managed, much like diabetes. And manage it on a daytime basis as you're up and about and walking, on a nighttime basis as you're sleeping, depending on the severity of your condition. And of course, making good choices. All right? Now, of course, we're with Medi. We specialize in medical compression and treat and serve many, many lymphatic patients. But medical compression is not the only course of action in managing your lymphedema. And remember, nobody knows your body better than yourself. It's up to you to manage your lymphedema, to stay attuned to what's going on with your body. So it starts during the day. You wake up in the morning. You have to establish that daily routine. And you typically want to put your compression on immediately. You want to don it first thing in the morning when your skin is dry, when it's easiest to do so, because after sleeping at night, you will have reduced in size typically. Because gravity is the enemy. As you're upright, whether it's your arms or your legs, you need to work that lymphatic fluid back to the thoracic region for your body to manage it best. So you want to put your compression on as early as possible in the morning. Now you have many choices of compression. We have things such as flat knit garments, wraps that are inelastic, that will contain severe edema, that are somewhat easier to put on for some patients. But whatever your choice, whatever you and your therapist have discussed, The key is to use it daily, to use it early, and proactively. Don't wait for the problem to erupt, and be attuned to what your body's telling you. Now, in addition to compression, you definitely want to make good lifestyle choices. Staying active supports your lymphatic flow. Eating well supports your lymphatic flow. And there's no reason you cannot wear your compression while doing your exercise. And exercise can be as vigorous as you and your therapist agree with, or it could be as light as stretching exercises. Whatever is right for you to help you manage your condition. You're going to feel your body telling you what to do long before anybody else will see it. So it's about you managing yourself, staying attuned to your body, and doing the right things. So compression therapy is a mainstay of managing your condition. And as we said, during the day, you have many choices of what you can wear, as you can see by the image behind me. Those choices come in many shapes and sizes, different compression levels, and again, work with your medical team to make the right choices for you. We also offer options beyond the traditional compression garments. This is a photo of an inelastic wrap, and we'll get into product details later. But for now, just realize there are options for you to manage your condition. Many people use these style garments for night care because they do have to manage any edema that develop through the day during the nighttime hours. That is patient to patient. It varies. We get a lot of questions about compression and living in your life daily. Travel is one of the common ones. Travel is obviously a very sedentary activity typically. You're sitting on a train, you're sitting in a car, you're sitting on an airplane. You don't have a lot of opportunities to walk around, to introduce motion and movement, and get that lymphatic flow stimulated. However, when traveling, stay attuned to your body. We know people that do airline flights, 2 hours or more. They know they're going to have a flare-up a day or two later, and they proactively manage that. And that is something you have to figure out for yourself. Because you want to manage your lymphedema. You don't want your lymphedema to dictate your life. You live your life. Lymphedema is something you manage as part of that. And that's a very important hurdle for you to go over to understand that this is definitely something that you can manage. Special events come up in our conversations with patients. Do I have to wear my lymphedema garments or my compression garments when I go to a wedding or have a formal event like a Christmas party? That is reliant upon you and what you know about your body. Can you go without your compression for a few hours? Many patients can. Okay? Some cannot, especially later in the day in the evening hours. They need their compression or the swelling gets severe. Whatever the case may be for you, that's between yourself and your medical team to figure out. And of course, more importantly, it's really your decision and you being attuned to what your body can tolerate or not tolerate. But keep in mind, there are options that can be more elegant and still maintain compression, so you're not regretting your decisions the next day as far as your lymphatic state and what effect it has on you. So we're going to hear from Amy Santiago, who went undiagnosed for over 14 years and was diagnosed in 2010. And not only learned to manage her lymphedema, but in 2015 was crowned as Miss Central Florida International as part of a pageant series. So let's hear from Amy real quick.
But from the patient standpoint, it's important for us to just speak. Speak to other patients, speak to the doctors, speak to the therapist. Let them know how lymphedema, it may or may not be controlling your life. Because we're all gonna have our days. I have my days where I have defeat, I have frustration, I have swelling more so than other days. But it's going to be all about how I take those and learn to see how I can grow through my journey. I think that's the most important aspect, is that just giving voice to your story, because we all have one.
Amy is definitely inspirational for many people. She's done a fantastic job, not just managing her lymphedema, but managing her attitude about her lymphedema. And we want to close with another message from Amy as far as this portion of the video. And then we're going to work with one of my colleagues, Michael, and he'll introduce you to some of the products that create possibilities for you. But this clip from Amy is pivotal because it really defines what it's like for you to manage your condition and make this transition and self-manage. For it's up to you to manage your lymphedema. Lymphedema should not define you. So let's hear from Amy. Thank you.
That just because I have lymphedema does not mean lymphedema is me. I am defining lymphedema. I am filled with greatness, and everyone around the world is too. And that they can give a voice to lymphedema, they can be lymphedema. They can put a definition to it how they want, because that emotional layer is what we make of it.
At this point, what we want to do is a product discussion followed by a Q&A. So during this discussion, feel free to go ahead and type in questions in the chat box, and we'll be prepared to answer them afterwards. So what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, again, is the products. And want you to know that many products are designed for you, for your lifestyle, so that you can manage your lymphedema and it's not managing you. We want you to remain as independent and active as possible, just like before your diagnosis. You define who you are, the condition doesn't, and the products don't. What we have here is we have the selection, the style, and the solutions for you. So let's start by talking a little bit about elastic and inelastic products. On this side of the table, I have an assortment of some of our elastic products, and they are branded MediUSA. And on this side, some of the inelastic products, which are branded Circade. Hopefully you're familiar with some of these already. So the elastic products are knitted products, and as you can see, they can be very elastic, or in a flat knit, they can be semi-elastic. We have inelastic products also by Circade, and as you can see, there's really very little give. They're going to hold for a lot of tissue for patients who have that. So going into the products just briefly, starting on the elastic side, on the flat knit products, we have 550, Mondi, and Sensu. And all of these products come with a variety of colors and design elements, as you can see, particularly the 550 and the Mondi products. But the the 550 product starting out is the product that offers the greatest containment for the most fibrotic patients, the greatest tissue, patients who need the most support. It's also available in the most compression classes. That's available in both lower extremity and upper. Mondi, by contrast, is going to be for a little bit more of the patients who have skin issues. It could be for the patient who has infections, healed ulcers, possibly even some sensitivity. So that material is a little bit softer, a little bit more forgiving, and really more antimicrobial. So you either go for 550 for containment or Mondi for skin issues. And then the Sensu material is the most elastic and the softest material. It's really not for the more extreme cases of lymphedema, but it's still a very good material that will offer some support. Now, in addition to that, we have circular knit products for lymphedema, and the Forte would be a great product, lower extremity, for a patient who doesn't have severe lobes, a lot of excess tissue, and may perhaps have some venous insufficiency also. So it's the combination of those two conditions. The Forte material is a really good choice. And then the last product that we would talk about in the elastic would be the new MediUSA Harmony material. So it's an arm sleeve, as you can see here, also available in hand pieces, gloves, and gauntlets. And that's a product that is available in standard, plus extra wide sizes for the larger upper arm for those patients that need it. And the great thing about these products from Medi is the handpiece and the sleeve will overlap very nicely with a compression break where they're overlapping, So there's not going to be a buildup of compression or a buildup of edema at that point. So that's the elastic products. Moving on now to inelastic products, as I mentioned, are the Circade branded products. The newest product that Medi has is the reduction kit. A lot of patients are familiar with bandaging. They've learned about it during the treatment phase. They've had to go home and replicate what their therapists have done, or try to replicate what the therapists have done. And as anyone who's done it knows, it's a challenge. You can get it bandaging on, it can fit well, but if you're reducing, it doesn't fit well for long. And then you have to remove it and redo it. Not an easy task to do, especially for a lot of patients who have difficulty maybe reaching their feet or try bandaging one limb. So this product is customizable by the therapist in the clinic on every visit, and then in between those visits, the patient can adjust it for him or herself as often as they want. So it's instantly adjustable without having to remove it. And therefore, patients are finding that they can make adjustments 1, 2, 5, 8, 10 times a day. Once the patient is finished using that product during that phase, they can move right into a Circade JuxtaFit material, which is the same type of material, same application, but this product is ready-made or a custom fit to fit them when they've kind of plateaued in size. But again, instant adjustability and measurable compression. The last product in the inelastic family will be the padded product. It's called Graduate, upper extremity or lower extremity. Some people refer to it as a nighttime garment. It can be used at night. It can be used when a patient is sedentary. It's whatever works for you. So having seen all these products, you can mix and match any products. You can wear different products at different parts of your day, throughout the course of your life, whatever works for you. So that's pretty much it right now for product presentation. Wanted to find out if there are any questions.
One question from a viewer is, how is the Circade reduction kit different from bandaging?
Well, again, the reduction kit will be a product that will be very easy for the patient to put on. So once the patient has been measured for the product and it's been sized for that patient, there is this adjustable piece. Excess material is cut off. They'll be able to put the product on themselves very quickly. Where bandaging can take people 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. Once a patient has learned how to put this on, it may only take them 30 seconds to put the product on themselves. So it does the same thing, but the application process is going to be a lot simpler, a lot quicker, and they can instantly adjust it without removing it, which is very difficult to do with bandaging.
Another viewer asked, how do they know if their compression garments are covered by insurance?
Well, what a patient will have to do is talk to their provider where they get their garment. Every insurance company out there has different policies, and the companies that actually sell and fit these products have different arrangements, contracts. So in some cases it may be cash only. In other cases it is possible that there'll be insurance coverage. So the best thing to do is a patient should talk to their clinician and their provider of product to find out what the options are for them. It sounds like those are the only questions we have today. So we want to say thank you very much. Feel free to contact us either through our sales reps or through our website, www.mediusa.com. And we look forward to working with you in the future. Take care.